Hi, I'm Craig Stage, Superintendent of the Athens Area School District. Let's begin with a question. Why do some schools in Pennsylvania thrive while others constantly struggle? To answer that, we need to understand how our public school system came to be and the decisions that shaped its funding. I'm a history teacher, or I was before I became superintendent. And I love to understand the backstory. So let's take a quick trip back in time. Public education in Pennsylvania was built on bold ideas and courageous leadership. One of the most important figures in this story is a gentleman by the name of Thaddeus Stevens. You might know him as an abolitionist and one of the founders of the Republican Party, but he also helped shape the future of public education in Pennsylvania. In 1834, Pennsylvania passed the Free Public Schools Act, becoming the first state to adopt a statewide public school system. This was a full 5 years before Horace Mann led similar efforts in the state of Massachusetts. But just 1 year later, the system was under threat. A taxpayer revolt pushed the legislature toward repeal. In fact, the Senate had already voted to dismantle the public education system. But that's when Thaddeus Stevens stepped in. Still early in his career, he made a bold stand. He argued that if Pennsylvania was to be a land of the free, then even the poorest child in the most remote corner of the state deserved a real education. His words were so compelling that the Senate reversed its vote that very day. And just like that, the Pennsylvania's public school system was saved. That moment didn't just save the system, it set a precedent. Public education in Pennsylvania was declared a right, not a privilege. But ensuring equal access has been a struggle ever since. Over time, the system grew. Early on, most funding came from local property taxes. But as economic gaps between communities widened, the state began to provide additional support. In 1965, the federal government began playing a bigger role thanks to the Elementary and Secondary Education Act, which focused on supporting low-income students. That same year, Pennsylvania passed Act 511, giving school districts the ability to raise additional revenue through local taxes. The funding system was far from perfect, and for decades, Pennsylvania used a hold harmless policy, which means it locks in the minimum funding levels regardless of enrollment changes. In 2016, the state adopted a new basic education funding formula, but only new dollars flowed through it, so many inequities still persisted. In 2023, Pennsylvania's Commonwealth Supreme Court ruled the system that was established in 2016 was unconstitutional due to the large disparities between rich and poor school districts. That rule led to a major shift. A new adequacy formula was adopted in 2024. Its aim was to fund schools based on what students actually needed. I know. Why are we talking about history? Well, this history matters. It helps explain why districts, like ours in Athens, work so hard to provide opportunities in a system that still carries the weight of its past, including its inequities. Every educational opportunity our children experience, from the textbooks they use, to the technology they have access to even the teachers who inspire them, connects directly to the financial decisions made at the district, state, and federal levels. As we move forward, keep this question in mind. What would Thaddeus Stevens think of the system we have today? Because understanding how schools are funded today and why it looks so different from one district to another starts with confronting that history. Stay tuned for my next video where we talk about where school funding comes from.